Now to Daisy Suarez Giles and her husband Keith Giles, who are sadly one of the many who have lost their home in the fires. They join us live from their hotel room in Los Angeles. Good morning to you both. Thank you, Daisy, and thank you, Keith, for joining us this morning. We're so sorry to hear about your loss and everybody else there in California. Thank you for chatting to us this morning. Can you tell us a little bit about that Tuesday and when people started to leave?
Hi, thanks for having us here. Tuesday was is a night that I will never forget. You know, the smoke, the fire, the smell, the wind. It was very frightening. We actually just gotten back from holidays, so the whole day I was just, going on my life. Kids went to school, and I didn't know there was a fire. I actually found out because I received a text message from a friend. She texted me around 8 p.m., and I didn't see it until closer to 9. When I look out the window, then I saw the smoke and I saw the fire. Yep, those are the first time I look out the window and I saw that. And I realized right there that something was wrong. I told my husband, this is not looking good. He was trying to keep me relaxed and keep us comfortable and not scared, not to panic. Everything is going to be okay. It's far out. I don't think it's going to come this way. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to take any chances. I think we should just prep a luggage and just be ready just in case we have to run out of here and go. And
I think that's one of the most frightening things is just how erratic the fire is, Daisy, when you say, you just don't know which way it's going to go. And you've got 2 little boys, Henry and Lucas, too. How old are your little boys and what did you decide to do? Did you decide to sleep in the car?
So what I decided to do was, they went to sleep. We had a power outage, so that's when I got more scared. I'm like, okay, this is like even getting worse. And I packed a luggage just to have it ready. They went to sleep because the little boys were tired. They were exhausted. They wanted to sleep. And I made it very clear that if everybody went to sleep, they needed to go to sleep ready. They needed to have clothes on just in case things got more worse. We would have to just run out of the house. My niece, she lived 2 blocks up the street, so her partner left the house at 10 p.m. He alerted us that there was no rooms available. So at that moment, I was like, okay, I see people, I was seeing a lot of cars driving down the hill. So I was telling my husband, a lot of people are leaving. So I think we should be ready to have an exit plan as well. And I was just more concerned that we were going to have to sleep in the car. So I had a lot of pillows and comforters ready in case we needed to sleep in the car.
And we're just looking at those, Keith, we're just looking at those pictures there. It's just shocking seeing people trying to take their animals, those horses being saved. You've got your little dog in your lap there as well. And as a family, you were able to get away safely. I understand some of your neighbours decided to stay and try and protect their homes.
We've heard there are some, yes, a few people that have been found in their homes. Some made it, some didn't. So that's the risk you take when you want to try and protect your home, I guess. But we felt that keeping the family together was more important than trying to save the home.
Of course. Tell us a little bit about the community. How long have you been where you lived? And had you experienced any fires, not on this scale, but in the past in that area? Because it's the sort of thing that we've watched from afar over the years. It's never been quite as savage as this, though.
We've been there just about 4 years now, and we hadn't seen any fires in this area. I lived in an earlier lifetime. I lived a little further east of there, and I'd seen a few fires, but nothing anywhere close to this kind of scale.
And with regards to the rebuilding of the community and the rebuilding of your house, I mean, there's complication that we're understanding over here is a number of people had their fire insurance cancelled in the last couple of years because of the cost in these insurance companies or whatever. How are you feeling about the opportunity to sort of get back and try and get that community up and going again?
There's mixed feelings. I mean, we loved that community. It was a fabulous community, but there's really none of it left anymore. And, we're lucky we did not have our fire insurance canceled. What that's going to cover, though, we have no idea at this point. But do we really want to rebuild in an area that's going to have probably much sparser population, and the community is already so badly damaged. So it's mixed feelings.
Yeah. And it's about taking care of the pets and the boys. So where are Henry and Lucas now, and how are they processing this? Because it's so hard to explain, I think, to, especially to children who are so young.
Henry, he's a strong little boy, stronger than I even thought. When I cry, he said, "Mommy, why are you crying? They're gonna fix the house. The builders are gonna come and they're gonna fix it." And I mean, he said they're gonna fix it. And I'm like, who? He's like, the builders, they're gonna come and they're gonna fix it, right? And he's very hopeful that we're gonna have our home back. Lucas, yesterday when my husband spoke to him, he called and he asked my husband if the house was ready, if they already fixed it. And it's just really it's very depressing for me, because everything that we do, everything that we have worked for is for our family, for our kids. That night I could not sleep. I stayed up even though they went to sleep. And like I said, at 1:30 in the morning, when I saw that fire, like 2 houses closer, it was just 2 houses behind the house in front of me. I woke them up and I said, it's time to go. We gotta run and go. Like, we have to go. It was already getting bad. And it was just like it was just horrific, just trying to, leave and driving and seeing the fire. And we had to go up the hill to drive my other niece to pick up her car so they can leave. So it was just not a good picture, not a good memory. And my kids had to see that. They had to see that so they remember. And Lucas, one of the first things that he did, Henry has been speaking a lot and telling everybody what happened. Lucas has not said anything. And one of the first things that he did was in the car, in the vehicle that is burned, he started drawing a picture of the mountain with the fire.
Goodness me, it's so brutal on them. I think I'm right in saying that the boys have gone to stay with some family, haven't they? They're not with you there in California at the moment. Yeah,
they're in Florida with Daisy's family right now.
Lovely. Okay. So they're with their family in a completely different part of the world, and hopefully having a whale of a time, a million miles away from the reality of what's faced. Well, look, thank you both for joining us this morning and sharing your story. Fingers crossed that community can get itself back on its feet as soon as possible. And it's as painless as it possibly can be, but we can't imagine what you're going through right now.
No.
Thank you. Thank you for the space and the opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to join my another family now who've also lost their home. Jeff Austin is live in LA alongside his daughters, 13-year-old Abigail and 10-year-old Madeline. Morning to all of you. Thank you, girls, and thank you, Jeff, for staying up to talk to us. I imagine, Jeff, hearing Daisy and Keith talk there sort of is pretty similar to what you and your family have been through. Just talk us through how it all unfolded for you.
Yeah, I mean, very similar in some ways. I follow a guy, a really remarkable guy, Edgar McGregor, online, and he's a local, lives in Altadena, and gives weather reports local to our neighborhood. And he'd been warning about these strong winds for, he gives us days advance notice. And he'd spent time in Eaton Canyon where the fire started, and he would video himself every single day picking up trash, and he warned us, if a fire starts, go. The wind was it was rough that morning, and so we actually left and went to a hotel when the girls got home from school. And so we were actually gone before the fire even started, because it was going to be 80-mile-per-hour wind, and we have a tree that hangs over our house, our bedroom, my wife and I's bedroom, and so we wanted a good night's sleep and thought we'd just be back in the morning. So we took off at a hotel early, and honestly, like, making decisions like that, it was having information like what Edgar passed us and what he passed to so many members of our community. I think he saved lives. I mean, it's just a lot of people got out, and it reduced traffic, and it helped clear the neighborhood. So we were out pretty early, and then we went to bed that night when the fire was moving the opposite direction, and then I woke up and it had completely just gone crazy. And from about 4:30 on, when I was awake, it was just trying to find information and find out what happened. And then and then we got a picture from a friend who's a highway patrol officer, and he, he had to break the bad news, but in many ways, like just knowing felt a little better.
So when you say you got a
hearing that
picture,
wondering.
sorry, Jeff, a friend who was a highway patrolman took a picture of what was left of your home. That's what you're saying, and there wasn't anything.
Yeah, he was driving. He was working up he lives in the community as well, and I had texted him and I just said, if you're up there and you can give us something, it would be amazing. And so from the car window picture is what he sent me, and that picture is how I that's how I first found out. So the other pictures, I know I have a neighbor who went up and took other pictures for us. So yeah, it was very helpful to know, but just devastating.
Yeah. And have you been back to where your house was yet, Jeff? Or what are the practical implications of what happens next? Because I imagine there's so much to do, and it must be incredibly overwhelming because you obviously feel so emotional, but at the same time, you've got to be practical too.
Yeah, it's sort of like I haven't really had a chance to like kind of grieve the whole thing yet, because I mean, there's thousands of us just in Altadena alone that are now looking for temporary and long-term housing, for those of us staying in the area. And so my wife and I are just, I mean, I feel like I have a third job now, just finding a place to live, dealing with insurance, replacing an entire life of things, and there's a lot of those comments like, well, things are just things, and it's true, but there's just your home and the things you have kind of tell your story, and so they can be a little more than things to I know they are to me. So it is really very much just I'm working all day, and luckily the girls have had friends that take them in during the day, and they they get to kind of escape it, and I really appreciate our community, our friends for giving us that chance.
Maybe I can just ask Abigail and Madeline how they're getting on. Abigail, what's it been like these last few days for you and your family and your friends as well?
Yeah, I'm like just truly so grateful for just being able to kind of be surrounded by that kind of community, and the amount of donations that we have received, and just being able to just be around friends and having that comfort is just so amazing. It's it's tough, but it's also knowing that this community can be so beautiful coming together. It's just it definitely is.
Was it scary, Abigail?
It definitely was. I'd never been through a windstorm this powerful yet. And then knowing that our home is gone, it's just kind of I don't know, you're kind of in denial at first, and it is scary to know there's so many people who have lost their houses and stuff. And so it is scary, but being surrounded by that kind of community, it makes it a little less scary.
And Madeline, I know that your dad got you all to pack some stuff before you left. What were the things that you took that you're very glad that you were able to pack and save?
A pair of shoes, obviously. One of my stuffed animals.
Your squishmallow.
Yeah.
Squishmallow.
Your squishmallow.
My sweatpants, probably. And I don't know, everything that counts.
Yeah.
I just was expecting to come home that night. I mean, the next night.
Yeah.
And
it just
didn't.
wasn't to be, sadly, was it? But as you say, and as you've just brilliantly articulated, Abigail, having that community around you that's looking after you and putting an arm around you, that you can share what you've been through, is going to be hugely important going forward. Jeff, thank you for joining us this morning. Girls, thank you for joining us. I know your mum's very emotional as well, so big hugs to her, and we wish you all the best for the future. Fingers crossed.
We greatly appreciate just having the chance to talk about our community. And Altadena is a great place. It's a magical place. We'll come back. We're going to be rebuilt and alongside of so many other people. And it's going to be a long journey. And I promised them I would say like it would be very helpful for me if Liverpool could help win that league this year. So
Oh, Jeff.
I told him I wouldn't wear my hat, but
I tell you what, there's always an opportunity to talk about your favourite football team, no matter what the situation.
There always is.
But do you know what, though? In moments like this, when you're looking for any sort of hope to cling on to, they're really, really important, whether it's for the girls, whether it's for you, whether it's for your family, your community. So fingers crossed you can rebuild as soon as possible and you get all the support that you need going forward as well. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
my one message to Altadinans though is Altadena is not for sale. Like we're rebuilding Altadena how it's supposed to be, and we're not gonna let it become something else. So thank you all so much for letting us tell our story.
Thank you.
Not
Thank
at all.
you.
Lovely to
Thank
meet you all.
guys.
What an extraordinary couple of families they are.
It's amazing, isn't it, how the worst of times can also bring out the best things in human beings and communities.
Well, you've got
So-
friends. You lived out there. You know, I was speaking to some friends yesterday. I was speaking to one of my really good friends, Darren, and his wife's parents' house is still really vulnerable out there in California. They've got a family living with them. They're a bit
really?
further down the coast that have lost their home already.
Yeah.
So everybody somewhere will have a connection with some family that has been through
Yes.
what those two families have just articulated.
And what
brilliantly.
Jeff said is absolutely true. It's all about everybody taking care of each other and really having that real sense of community and pulling together.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Aged just 15, Rhea Cooper became the UK's youngest person to change gender. But 3 years later, Rhea, who was born Brad, made the decision to transition back to being a man.
5 years on, Rhea is more certain that she is living in the wrong body and she's preparing to go under the knife once again. Rhea, what a journey. What a journey.
was.
And you've attracted a bit of criticism from some people who are basically saying to you, make up your mind. If they were in your shoes, what would you say to them?
It's just hard, it's difficult. It was horrible going through like all the negative things, what people were saying. I never once changed back to a man. I was 18, I was going through a really bad patch. I was like depressed. I was getting loads of horrible, I can't remember words. It was horrible what people were saying to me, death threats, saying to me, go and kill yourself. I was in a really bad relationship and I just had enough. I thought, if I go back to being a boy...
Why would people be so unsympathetic towards your confusion, if I could put it like that? Why would they begrudge you that?
I think it's because I was so young and they was judging me on that, saying I'm confused, you're too young to make like the change at that life.
You were how old then, 15?
I was 15, yeah.
And what is that like? I mean, just put that back to someone who's criticising you. So you're a 15-year-old boy, except you're not sure you want to be a boy. Just explain to people what that feels like.
how you were feeling inside.
I just knew I wanted to be a girl, and from being young, 5, 6, like growing up, I always wanted
And it was
to be
other
a girl,
people who had the problems, other people who were begrudging you that.
Yeah, it's everybody had a problem with it.
And it's not even like you say wanting to be a girl, it's like really feeling, genuinely feeling that you are in the wrong body. Can you remember when you first felt like that?
Yeah, I was so young. I was about 5, because like all my sisters, I never wanted to play with the boys, my boys' toys, I always wanted makeup on, I used to put my mum's makeup on, and just from there, and being like 14, 13 when I changed.
Do you know what amazes me, Ray? It's that anybody would think that that is an easy decision to make. Do you know what? I think I'll be a girl next week, I'll be a boy the week out. They actually, who would actually think that that's a decision you would take lightly?
It's not even a decision, I just knew I wanted to be a female at that age.
How hard has the journey been for you?
It's been horrible, Like, people say well, I used to say people's opinions didn't affect me, but they really did. They got me down. There was days I didn't leave the house, got real bad depression. It was horrible.
So you made that decision when you were 15 years old that you did not want to live as a boy anymore.
Yeah.
You got support from your family. What was it then that you found you couldn't deal with that made you then say, well, I'm going to have to just go back and be Brad again?
It was more like, when I was 18, like I said, I was really depressed and I was struggling to find work. No one gave me a job. And then my documentary was out when I was 18 and that like kind of ruined my life from there. And no one would give me a job because of the documentary. and because of who I was. And I think I just had enough, and I just thought, will my life be much better if I went back to being a boy? And
how was that then, going back into
it was horrible.
that
It was
life?
the worst decision I ever made. Like, I put boys' clothes and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I should be happy. I need to do this for me. Why please other people?
How long did you go back and
Literally, it was, I
Brad?
put boys' clothes and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Did you then, at home, in the privacy of your home,
Yeah, it was.
were you then Rhea and dressed as a woman, but when you were out in public, you went back to being Brad?
No, I was at home and I was like, I'm going to go back to being a boy, and I tried putting the male clothes and I just couldn't do it. So it was just like, literally, like the papers are saying it, I went back to being a boy, then a girl. It was nothing like that. It was just, I thought, will it be a lot better if I did go back to being a boy? But I didn't go back to being a boy.
So it reaffirmed, in a way, your decision that you made when you were so young, that this is definitely what you wanted, however
100%.
difficult that road was going to be for you to travel.
It's been worth it now to where I am at the moment in my life. I'm so happy. I couldn't be happier.
That's nice to hear. That's nice to hear that. Right, you're 23.
Yeah.
And how would you describe now where you're at and the journey that lies ahead? At least you're going to face that now with total confidence. You're totally sure now this is definitely the right thing.
I've always
no matter
been
what anyone
sure.
says.
Yeah, I've always been sure that I wanted to be female. I was doing it to please other people. And now I'm happy now where I am at the moment. My life's great. Focusing on getting my own business and other things.
And what about surgery and things? What's ahead of you in that respect?
So I had my boobs done 3 weeks ago, and I'm getting more surgery in December and then next year.
And there's also a bit of confusion I should point out as well. I think some of the criticism you're getting from people is saying, oh, what are you clogging up the medical system and whatever doing all this for? You were very independent on this, weren't you?
Yeah, the NHS hasn't funded nothing. I was funded the money by somebody else to get my boobs done, as well as me with surgery. So.
And what about the future now? How do you see your future as Rhea? Are you looking for love in your life? Would you like a partner?
I am looking for love, but love will come to me. You know, I want to focus on me, getting my life back on track. Like, I've not got depression. I'm just me, and I want to get my own business and go from there, really.
What do you want to do for your business?
Beauty. I want to help other people who are transitioning, like younger people, because I've had a lot of tweets from like 15-year-old kids who are scared to come out. So I'd like to open a salon and do makeovers for them.
And what advice do you give those youngsters who get in touch with you?
Yeah, because it seems to us, you know, we've interviewed you before many years ago.
Yeah.
And we've interviewed a lot of people and we've seen people's journey. It would seem to us that the country seems to be more enlightened about this, more accepting about this, but you can only speak as you find, and you find a bit differently. How more enlightened do you think we are or not?
And it's more known now than it was when I come out. It was a struggle for me, but there's a lot more coming out, a lot more younger people.
Do you think society generally is becoming more accepting?
Yeah, but you'll always get your negative people, no matter what.
Jack joins us now. Jack, thank you for coming onto the show this morning.
Morning.
It's obviously a very difficult time for you. You've been through an awful lot. I wonder, firstly, how you're doing, how you're feeling right now?
Yeah, really good, really good. And I think being in such a good place now, you know, in a good relationship and, you know, being mentally strong is why I'm able to talk about it. Because I think before, you know, things would go wrong or I'd do something or something bad would happen. And I couldn't handle it, so I was always off, you know, drinking, taking drugs and things like that. So it was masking. I never actually dealt with the problems that I had and the issues that I had head on. And a lot of the time, I thought I didn't have a problem. I assumed I didn't have a problem. And, you know, from, I'd say, probably the age of 18, this has been an ongoing issue, but never, you know, unfortunately, you know, since being on TV, those mistakes are now public. They're not stuff that you could deal with behind closed doors. It's stuff that I've done, which now everyone knows about. It's not something that I could keep back.
So you've always, I think what you've said is you always felt like this was in you.
Yeah.
Maybe the opportunity to become well known and be on television has accelerated that. But regardless of being on telly, this probably would have happened at some point. You would have ended up with a gambling problem and drug problem and drink problem.
I mean, for me, yeah. I mean, no matter how I ended up with money, this would have happened regardless. No matter what the scenario was, it would have happened regardless. I would say having money in abundance quite quickly accelerated it, but this would have happened anyway, And the amount of opportunities that I've messed up due to this, but then would not confront it and actually say, I've actually got a problem here. I would just try and go on to the next thing, or I'd let someone down and burn some bridges, but I didn't want to burn those bridges. I'd let these people down and then go on to the next thing, and all of a sudden there's no one left to fall back on. There was nothing more to salvage. I mean, I used to come up here all the time and do the competitions with Andy Peters and stuff, and I loved it. Like, it was amazing, but unfortunately, due to me, not turning up for things and being unreliable, them opportunities I went. So no matter where they come from, those opportunities, I would have ruined whatever it was. Whether it's selling my office supplies, if I got a huge client, I probably would have messed up going to a meeting with them. But I wasn't able to actually confront these issues head on. But I feel like now I really am in a place to do that.
And is that one of the reasons why you're doing this now and why you're talking about it now? It's almost that sense, I suppose, of accountability, I guess. That the fact that if you sit here now and you say it, you're going to stick to it. That's what we all want you to do.
The reason that I wanted to talk about it like this is because I do want to hold myself accountable, because there's been a few different times that I would kind of say, oh, yeah, I'm changing now. I'm really sorry for doing this. But I had no real intention of changing because I hadn't been dealing with the issues. And I thought, look, if you've got some fame and you've got a platform and you're well known, rather than it just be flooded with me having a sob story and crying and saying I'm sorry all the time, why not say, do you know what? Hold my hands up and say, look, I did make these mistakes. I did have these problems. I was taking drugs. I was letting people down. But let's change the narrative now and use that platform rather than let it be full up with all this negative stuff. Let people say, do you know what? If he can do it, if he can have all these opportunities, if he can have all this money, lose it all down to what he was doing and turn it around, why can't I? Because there's a lot of eyes on it and I want it to be something positive now. I'm bored of myself. I'm sick and tired of myself, keep saying I'm sorry and doing all these things, but making the same mistake over and over again. And I think that's a lot of what addiction is. It's like insanity. It's like doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. I'd have arguments with myself and say, this time round it'll be different. You will make it tomorrow, but it never was the case.
How bad did it get, Jack?
It was awful, and it was always like, it started out, you just have a drink, and then you end up taking other drugs, and then because you've taken so many of those, then I take others to go to sleep, and it's this cycle, and then you'd be all right for a few days. And that's why I always thought this isn't a problem, because I'd have a few days off in between. Yeah. But then what had happened is I discovered another drug, which is an anti-anxiety drug, and I'd start, and then I become physically addicted to that. That's why I went to rehab. I become physically addicted. I never experienced physical addiction, like experiencing, withdrawals and things like that. And it was like, mate, how many times do you have to do this? And I think, my family and my relationships and Chloe, they're all so supportive, but how much more have they got? How many more times are they going to be like, do you know what, Jack, yeah, it's okay, we'll get through this. There's got to be a point where they say, this is it now. And I think it got to that point where there was no more relationship to salvage. There was no money to go and even help yourself or go off to rehab.
Well, that is one of the factors in this whole situation that you find yourself in as well, where you had a vast amount of money.
Yeah.
And you went through it so quickly because you'd kind of got this gambling addiction that was running at the same time.
Well, it's not that. It was like these all went hand in hand. So I'd be, I would be drinking and doing whatever I was doing, and then I wasn't in my right mind. So I'd think to myself, I'd convince myself, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and win 100 grand today on blackjack. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. And then because of
how much were you gambling?
Oh, the gambling. I mean, this was only ever when I was, I suppose the word is intoxicated. I was doing 40 grand days, like 5 grand hands on blackjack. Like, who did I think I was? I wasn't Brad Pitt. Like, why did I think I had all this money? Like, you know what I mean? But, it's money that, and also I had to be healthy and keep up appearances and be punctual to keep getting that money anyway. So how delusional was I to think that it was going to still be there?
Endless supply. And in total, how much money do you think you've wasted?
Oh, it's very close to $1 million. Very, very close to me. Because it's awful. And when I say, and it's not even just that, it's like the behaviour that I was doing. So like, driving recklessly, having no regard for even myself. I didn't really care about myself. I didn't really care. Like, so.
But there's other people on the road as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I'd end up crashing cars. I mean, it's been paying to get them fixed. So the collateral damage was very expensive for me. And it's all my fault. And that's why, you know, what you said about accountability. I hold my hands up to all this. This was my fault. You know, I'm dealing with the consequences. And now I want to set it straight. And a couple of times last year, you know, I sat there and I just thought, it's all over for you. You had the world at your feet. But I don't think it's, I've got so much more to give. Do you know what I mean? Let's change the narrative. Rather than keep trying to cover these things up, say, I messed up. I am human, but I won't do it again. And I want.
Why now, though, Jack? Why do you feel like? Because I think you've been sober since Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So we're just coming into February now. So sort of a month and a half, getting on for 2 months.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, fair play. But why do you think now it's going to stick?
The reason it's going to stick now is because, as I mentioned, there's nothing more to salvage. Everyone else is on their last, like they're on their last. I'm on their last chance. There's no going back now.
So you think you're at the lowest you can?
Yeah, the lowest I've ever been in every way, you know. And it's like, I'm 32, and I'd always have this little argument with myself. And again, this is an addiction thing. You've got two people on your shoulder, but one tells you the reasons you should do it, and one tells you the reasons you shouldn't. And one of those arguments was always, you're only in your mid-20s. You're only, you know, you can still do this. But even that argument's gone now. That the addict was talking about in me. And it's like now, you know, you've got an opportunity to turn this around. You've got supportive people around you. And I think as well, I've got more to lose now in terms of my relationships with my friends and my family. They're better, you know, with Chloe, and we're in a really good place. And like, I've never really had that. I've not really had that where I thought that's not worth losing. Everything that I had, I always thought, it's all right, I'll get it back. I didn't really care if I lost it. But this time round, I've got so much to lose in terms of stuff that you can't buy.
Yeah.
You know, I've got stuff that you can't buy.
So what are you doing? Obviously,
Yeah.
it's not as easy as, right, I'm just going to stop, right? Because like
No,
you
yeah, of
said,
course.
you've got these two voices
Of course,
on
yeah.
either shoulder.
Yeah.
So what are you doing to make sure that this is the time, this is the moment where it's going to be different?
Yeah, I'm setting goals for myself, right? And I just thought to myself, right, what was you good at? Boxing. So I went and signed for a fight, and I'm going to fight on the 1st of March. I thought, right, I want a skill that I can learn and have forever, that no one can take away from me.
And that's a professional.
Yeah. So obviously, I've been boxing as a professional in England. So I've signed with Warren Boxing Management. I've got a meeting with the board to redo my licence and stuff. I'm fighting on a professional bare knuckle card on the 1st of March. I also, you know, being in this industry, sometimes it's like, those mistakes you've done, you're not right for this brand, and people telling you what you're not right for. Yeah. So I thought, okay, what can I learn as a skill that I can have for myself? That's why I doing a master's degree in financial trading, which no one can take that away from me. Then I earned that, and I've done it. I've also gone back to office supplies and stationery,
which is where you originated.
Exactly. So
I'm
back as a pen seller. So I'm doing that because I thought I'm good at it. I know what I'm doing, and for me, having those things, I'm comfortable with it. I've boxed my whole life, and I've sold pens since I've been 16. Stick to those two things, you know, as the comfort, because you know what you're doing. You're confident in what you're doing. Don't, you know, let loads of different things come into your head and branch off here, branch off there, because that's what happened before, I suppose. You know, I had so many different opportunities. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that, and I never put 100% into any of them. So now I'm just fully focused on the things I'm good at and what I want to do and where I want to be.
And what about Chloe as well? Because she's been incredibly patient and she's looked out for you. She's been through the mill, right?
I love her. I do love her. And I really finally, I see a future. And I want to get married. I want to buy a farm. You know what I mean? That's what I want. That's what I want to do. And I see that with her now. But the person I was and the person I was becoming, that person couldn't hold down a relationship. That person couldn't even hold down a job. But this person, the person I'm becoming, I'm not saying it's all in the snap of her fingers, that's it. It's a lot of work, but I'm willing to put the work in now because I want to build a future for me and Chloe, and I build a future for myself. And I want to finally change this narrative and stop filling it up with negativity and be an example and be, you know, want people to look up to me, because people did look up to me, but now I want them to look up to me for the right reasons.
I think it really helps the minute you have structure in place like that. And I have to say, I've seen the interview that you've done with the newspaper. Yeah. And you look a million times better already, just physically. So it's working.
Yeah,
You're on the right path.
I know. I'm just going to keep that up now. I want to try and get some abs, I think, as well, you know.
Jack, good luck.
Thank
Stay
you.
on it.
Will
You know,
do.
hold yourself accountable.
Exactly
Think
that.
about those people, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. And good luck for the fight as well.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
If you or someone you know has been affected by anything that we've been talking about on today's show, you can find advice and support by heading to the helpline section on our This Morning website. Just go to itv.com/helpline. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning. You don't need to adjust your TV or search for something making a noise. The sound we've just played is exactly what Made in Chelsea's Jamie Lang heard for the first time almost a decade ago, and he's been hearing the same sound almost every day since.
Yeah, Jamie woke up one day hearing that whooshing, high-pitched noise and was eventually diagnosed with tinnitus and was told that there isn't a cure.
Jamie is here to tell us about his experience alongside Dr. Raj. Good morning to you both. It's only when you hear that, Jamie, that you realise just how debilitating it must be.
Yeah, it is pretty debilitating. And look, my story is that 9 years ago, I woke up one morning and I could hear this ringing. So I searched the whole house to find this noise and then realised it was in my head, which is quite a scary thing. And
frightening.
Really frightening. The upsetting thing is it affects 1 in 7 people. So 1 in 7 people are affected. So I'm a big advocate for talking about it, you know, allowing people to realise that if you do have it, it is a little bit scary, but there are ways to sort of help it. And yeah, and also the hard thing about it is no one can see it.
Yes.
Or feel it. So it's a very solo problem. So you're very stuck in your own body with it.
So do you hear kind of that noise that we just heard? And does the noise that you hear get worse? What's it like? Try and describe it for us.
So it's like a high ringing whooshing noise, and lots of tinnitus is different, right? People hear different things,
right?
But there are certain things, right? It's a problem because the more anxious you get, the more stressed you get, the more tired you are. All this, the louder it gets. And when tinnitus first starts, all you're thinking is about is the tinnitus. Oh, it's there, it's there. So it's louder and louder and louder. So what I try and do is I try and treat it now like a friend, which we were talking about earlier, which is where people have tinnitus are so scared of it. You're so scared it's there the whole time. But actually, now I sort of treat it as that really annoying friend. So if it's really loud, I go, OK, what are you trying to tell me? I'm either anxious, I'm either stressed, I'm either overworked or overtired. And if you do that with it, it kind of helps it a little bit.
So you can put into context what you're going through, and then that can reduce how loud it is?
It reduces it because basically tinnitus is about accepting it. You just sort of have to accept it's there. It's like I treat it like, OK, you can hear that fan in the room. People on TV probably go, but you can hear the fan in the room. If you think about the noise, you can hear it. But if you're not thinking about it, you block it out. So you treat it like that.
What was it like getting the diagnosis? Because having had that experience of thinking there was a noise somewhere in the house, in the flat, in the room or whatever, and then going, gosh, this is in my head.
Yeah.
And then not really knowing what you were going through, probably doing a bit of Googling, but actually to be given the diagnosis and also being told it's not curable.
Look, it's really upsetting, right? And for anyone who's going through it now and it's really upsetting. And there's no way to put about it because you think, OK, this is for life. Anything like that is just, you're like, well, how am I ever going to get through this? But I promise you, you become accustomed to it and you get used to it. And your brain and your body are amazing things that actually you somehow you realise how to work around it. And I really just encourage anyone who is watching this or is suffering with tinnitus to try and accept it and not fight it and just say, it's that annoying thing that I have, but I've got, you know, I can breathe and I can hold things and I can walk around. And so you look at the good things and that kind of helps it a lot.
Jamie, how do you think you got it or what caused it?
Well, loud music. I mean, I think...
You think it's...
I think my thing was probably different. I did never protect my ears.
Right.
And the problem with we listened to music so loud, I went to a lot of nightclubs when I was younger. I was not wearing ear protection. You know, London can be quite loud. So I never, ever thought anything of it. Now I just really want people to protect their ears. You know, if you go to a gym class in the morning, that is loud.
Yeah.
You don't have to bring earplugs, but I put tissue paper in my ears. Just somehow protect your ears in certain ways because they're so important, they're so useful. And if you can protect yourself from having tinnitus, it will be a really good thing.
You do, I mean, obviously for your work, you're doing a lot of broadcasting and presenting. So, of course, that you have to be able to think and these things can be distracting. I understand when you did Celebrity Hunted, it got really, really bad. Not just because you were spending all that time with Spencer, obviously.
That's why it was bad. That's why it was really bad.
He was anxious.
Spencer just made me anxious.
but it got really bad during that period.
Yeah, it was. I did the show and it was really bad. Probably the environment or whatever, but it was so.
It's a stressful show, isn't it?
It was a stressful show, and the stress makes it worse. And it was so loud. If you were talking, I wouldn't be able to hear you. I could just hear ringing. Yeah, and that was pretty upsetting. And but again, I'm a big believer in this too shall pass, and it doesn't matter if you're the most popular or the least popular, or the tinnitus is high, or you're feeling low or feeling high. Everything passes, it always moves on. So if you have that kind of way of thinking, I think it kind of helps.
It's a great perspective, isn't it? But Dr. Raj, there will be people sitting at home today that are really, really struggling with tinnitus. And is it 1 in 7, Jamie said as well?
1 in 7, yeah, 1 in 7. And actually, it's Tinnitus Awareness Week this week, and the report from Tinnitus UK came out, which said that actually 8 million people by the end of 2025. So it is, it's a lot of people going through this. And like Jamie said, in isolation. So it's a sound that, you can hear, nobody else can hear it. And like Jamie's obviously found ways to cope with it, which I think is great. And there are treatments and ways that we actually try to help patients with that. Things like CBT, exactly what you're saying about trying to cope better with turning that negative emotion into a more positive, mindset. So you can deal with it in those ways, but it's hard to do that when every day you're hearing this noise in your ear. And it can be debilitating. And again, anxiety can make it worse, depression can make it worse, and vice versa as well. And it's poorly understood. It's a complex condition. It's not understood very well. What we do know is that inner ear sort of inflammation and damage can cause these sort of nerve signals to be disrupted to the part of your brain which basically processes sound, so your auditory cortex. And what happens is those signals sort of disrupt the sound, and then you get these phantom sounds, which actually originate in the brain, but they sound like they're coming from the ear. And those can be ringing sounds, whooshing sounds. For some people, it can sound like chatter as well, or like music.
Really
so very, very distracting. And all the treatments work on reducing that awareness that you have of it, like Jamie said, and accepting it.
Yeah, and accepting it, but also I just talk about it. Bore me. Send me a message on Instagram. Just talk. It's true though. Just talk about it. The way that it helped me is I have a great friend called Jimmy, and I knew no one who had tinnitus, and I was with him once. And I said, I just got this thing, it's constant ringing. And he went, I've got that, and I went, you're kidding me, and we hugged. And we just then spoke about it. And when if you're sharing it, you get an echo back. Yeah. And it's the greatest thing in the world, and sharing it helps.
You've even talked about Chris Martin having it as well. And the day when you realise, he's got it too.
If Chris Martin has it, then we're all okay. Yeah. So I Googled who had this thing tinnitus, and Chris Martin came up, and I thought, okay, if Chris Martin has it, then maybe I'm going to be okay. This amazing musician, and
who hasn't stopped playing.
So that's how.
And often I think musicians can get it because of exposure to sound repetitively. Similarly with if you lots of exposure to noise in nightclubs, like you said, or even listen to really loud music through your headphones. So be very mindful of that. If you are somebody who's in the gym pumping loud music every single day, again, it's going to increase your risk of that. And even if you're somebody who's using power tools and you're not protecting your ears, must do that. Wear your mufflers, wear your protection gear to ensure that you're reducing your risk of it as well. Really important.
If someone is sitting at home and they're struggling with it, though, is there things they can do? Jamie's said a couple of really interesting things already, but to manage it?
So, if you've got persistent tinnitus, there's no cure, but lots of treatments focus on sort of awareness and distraction from the sound itself. So things like sound therapy, so white noise. I think you mentioned, didn't you, Jamie, that you use white noise or
whale noises at night.
Whale noise at night,
My wife loves that, but honestly, whales at night is lovely.
Well, on Valentine's Day.
The whales are playing, let's go.
So you can have, sound therapy, which you have a fan on or some white noise, a bit like what you can play when you've got a little baby, the sort of music sound in the background. Or you can also use things like a sound pillow, which are essentially pillows with a speaker in them. And you can change the music on them to white noise or whale sounds if that's what you prefer, and different sounds through the night to sort of distract from the tinnitus. Because as you can imagine, trying to sleep with that in your ear, because that's the time when you're quiet and everything else is quiet. And if you've got a constant sound in your ear, it can be very disturbing. So to have some sound over that can really help as well.
Do you struggle then if you don't have the whale sounds or whatever it is to fall asleep?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm totally honest, I can't sleep in silence, which is really annoying because it's just there. So I sleep with a fan on in the room, or my best friend is Stephen Fry, and so I sleep with him in my ear.
The dulcet tones.
Yeah, I know, he doesn't sit in my bed.
I was going to say, does he know he's in your ear?
He doesn't know he's in my ear, but he's honestly, his voice was just so soothing. So find something that really soothes you. Yeah. I have a fan on, or whale noises, or Stephen Fry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it hasn't stopped the success of the business either.
That's very kind. Yeah,
I mean,
So that fabulous
10
post
years.
of Candy Kittens.
yeah, Candy Kittens.
Can we just look at this picture? Because it's just this.
It's
You went to a
amazing.
big convention. It's a sweets convention.
Yeah.
So this is the original stand you had.
That's the original stand we had in 2014, yeah. And
Look
then-
at you now!
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, you've got a street.
Yeah, we built a whole house. It's really amazing, and it's an amazing... We have an incredible team, and my business partner, Ed's amazing, and we built it for the last 13 years. And it's just a really proud moment, because I think a lot of people sort of think probably that we started with all this money. We started with £3,000 and built it up, and seeing that stall there to that was really a proud moment,
Yeah.
It was
Good
amazing.
distraction as well.
And my mum even said, "I'm proud of you." It's like that. And I was like, "Thanks, mum."
That's the holy grail.
That
When
is
your mum
the
says they're
best
proud of you,
time
that's the
ever.
holy
Wow.
well
Amazing.
done.
Thank
Jamie,
you.
thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
as well, 'cause I think,
thank
as you
you.
say, if you can share it and people
For
out there
sure.
understand that you're going through it, and as he said, you can bore him with your messages.
Do
We'd
it.
love to hear from you.
Yeah.
That's right, nice
Thanks.
to see you.
Thank you for visiting
lots-
our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Now, when former Little Mix star Jessie Nelson discovered she was having twins with her partner Zion, she was over the moon.
But when she announced her pregnancy to her fans, posting that she was eating for 3, she had no idea of the challenge the world was about to throw her way.
There are complications that come with having identical twins. The type of twins we are having are called monodi twins. I am currently pre-stage TTTS, which is twin-to-twin transfusion. Every time I've gone, it's got a little bit worse. Could lead to both babies dying. But it's just really sad that unfortunately it does come with its complications, which we had no idea about. Unfortunately, the symptoms have got worse. They have to perform the procedure. It's necessary because it's going to give our babies like the best chance of surviving. Just hoping and praying for the best, really. But it's obviously just really scary.
Jessie spent more than 10 weeks of her pregnancy in hospital due to a rare condition that affects twin pregnancies and can be fatal to the babies.
Thankfully, on the 15th of May, Jessie and Zion became the proud parents of baby girls Story Monroe and Ocean Jade, who join us now on the sofa. Alongside them, the specialist who guide them through every step of the way, Dr. Ruan Willem-Sandera. So nice to see you.
Thank
all
you
of
for
you.
having
all
us.
5
We
of you.
made it.
You did it.
You made it, and they're here, and they're healthy, and they're beautiful.
Thank you so much.
So who's
Thank
who? So
you.
Jessie,
I've
who
got
are you
Ocean.
holding?
We actually just swapped right before we came on.
Oh, did
I've
you?
got
A lot.
but we still get confused.
So this is Ocean.
Ocean.
And this is Story.
And how do you tell the difference? They're exactly
Well,
the same.
we actually, when they haven't got their hats on, Ocean, bless her little heart, she's receding a little bit, so that's how I can tell. But when they've got the hats on, it's very hard to tell.
So they're 69 days old.
Yeah.
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 And how early did they come?
31 weeks, 5 days. Yeah.
Almost newborn, basically.
Yeah.
So listen, tell us, look, every pregnancy comes with ups and downs and complications. So tell us when you realised it was going to be different.
Well, I mean, when we first found out we were having twins, which was just crazy.
Oh, yeah.
We were like ecstatic. We was like over the moon about it.
Does it run in the family?
No.
Oh,
so it was a complete surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish you'd have seen Zion's face. You'd like seen a ghost when we found out. But so I had the scan, and immediately we were told, right, the guy that was scanning us was like, right, I'm not going to scan you anymore because I actually need to refer you to a specialist, a twin specialist. And I just thought that was
Normal.
standard, normal.
Yeah.
Next day, went to see Dr. Ruan, and he scanned us. Babies were fine, and then Dr. Ruan sat us down and then basically told us all the complications that can come with the type of twins that we were having. And I just literally felt like I'd been, like, I couldn't believe, like, the percentages and what could potentially happen to them. And I almost felt like from that point, I couldn't really enjoy my pregnancy.
Yeah.
Because I was just constantly worried that something was going to happen. And we were, I think you told us that we can only really take it like 2 weeks at a time, which is just like,
live your life.
how can you, like, we didn't even want to announce it because, and I actually had a threatened miscarriage quite early on as well.
Oh my goodness.
And from then, even then, I was like, I don't even want to announce it, which is just like, when I think back to it now, it actually makes me feel so sad because it's like, when you're pregnant, that should be like the happiest time of your life.
Yeah.
Like, it's so exciting.
And
but
you
we
want
were
to share that.
We were so scared to announce it in case anything happened. I mean, thank God, like, everything's gone well. But we had no idea that this can happen with twins.
And Zion, and as a partner, as a man, you want to be there doing everything you can, and yet you're so helpless.
100%, literally. I just felt like, whilst Jess was going through it all, I literally just felt, just words of reassurance.
Yeah.
That's all I could do. And just trying to stay positive, even though we knew kind of the risks. I was just really trying to stay positive
in
for
that
you, yeah.
situation.
I
I'm
felt
so lucky I did have
helpless.
him though, because I feel like if I didn't, I'd have gone mental.
Do you know what I've enjoyed? I've
I would
enjoyed
have.
following the story and seeing your relationship, how
Oh,
beautiful it
thank
is.
you.
It's absolutely a beautiful
Thank you
relationship
so
of just
much.
love.
Thank
And I
you.
just was so rooting for them,
Thank
these
you.
babies to come through.
Yeah.
And part of the person who helped this happen
He's
is
our
Dr.
hero.
Ruhan.
Literally.
Dr. Ruhan, can you just tell us about the actual condition that Jessie had? Because I know the baby shared the same placenta, is that right?
That's right. So monochorionic twins, identical twins, share a single placenta. And even though each baby has its own part of that placenta, there are blood vessels that join the two together. So in effect, they share a single circulation, which does mean more complications, such as twin-twin. And anything that happens to one baby has a direct impact on the other baby.
Does that happen to every identical twin? They will share them?
No. So twin-twin occurs in about 15%. So about 1 in 6 of these pregnancies.
And what does that mean, the twin-twin?
So
is that the TTTS?
Yes, the twin-twin transfusion syndrome, or TTTS. That's really related to the blood vessels that join the two parts of the circulation together. Normally, they allow blood to flow in both directions, so it's an equal flow of blood. But when you develop twin-twin, there's an unequal flow of blood. So one baby's getting just too little blood, doesn't grow as well, doesn't produce much urine, and unfortunately, that baby can become severely anemic. But the opposite is happening to the other baby. The other baby's getting too much blood flow and can go into heart failure. And so when it becomes significant, it's without us doing anything, unfortunately, it's got a very high chance of miscarriage.
What do you do?
Well, what we can do is to try and cure the problem, because the problem are those blood vessels joining the two together. We can put a telescope into the womb, have a look at the inside of the placenta, identify those blood vessels, and with the laser, burn them away. So we leave each baby with its own part of that placenta, and there isn't this unequal flow of blood between the two.
Cut back to these two. Right?
No, I know. And it's just so mad, because even when everyone told us, like, you're pre-stage TTS, you actually haven't got it yet. It hasn't got to stage 1.
It's only if you get to this situation.
Yeah, I still felt, and every time we were going for scans, it was getting a little bit worse, a little bit worse. I still felt like we didn't think it was going to happen. I still didn't feel like I was going to have the procedure. I feel like I was a bit like, I don't know, in denial about it. And then when we went, and that literally happened within, like, that happened so quickly. Because I was being scanned weekly to be, like, closely monitored.
Yeah.
And I think I'd come to see you on the Tuesday, and then it was on the Thursday.
So he told you the symptoms?
No, so I'd been told, like, weeks prior to that I had pre-stage TTS, and then every time I was going to be scanned, it was getting worse and worse. And then I'd, like, have my weekly scans, and then right before I had the actual laser, Ruhan had said, like, you know, I do think we're getting to the stage where we're going to have to perform the procedure. And there were symptoms to look out for. It was like if your belly gets really tight, like a drum, if you're struggling with your breathing. And 2 days after my scan, we'd gone to the park, and I couldn't even walk because I was just, like, so out of breath. But it's so hard when you're pregnant with twins as well, because what is normal and what's not?
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, well, I've got twins, so of course I'm going to be out of breath. And of course my belly's going to be really tight. I've been growing 2 humans. And then it was thanks to Zahn, actually, that I said to him, like, can you feel my belly? Because I've actually got, like, I've got so used to feeling like this, I don't know what's normal anymore.
And did you feel something different, Zion?
Yeah, because I'd obviously been feeling it throughout the pregnancy, but this specific time, it just felt really, really tight. Like, my fingers couldn't go in.
Right.
Yeah,
And
like, you know,
was
when you
one of
press
the-
it, it goes a little bit squidgy. It just wasn't like that at all. And then so I
That was
rang.
one of the signs that Dr. Ruhan had said to watch out for.
So we called, and he was like, just come in, like, it's
Straight
better to
away.
be safe than sorry. And then that day I had to have the procedure, and it just was just like...
I felt like overnight, we literally went from pre-stage to, like, have to have the procedure now. And that procedure is not even, like, guaranteed to work. And I think that was another thing that was, like, terrifying. Even when you was just explaining it, brings back the emotions of anxiety that we had. It's just, yeah.
So what is that procedure? And then obviously, then Jessie had you went into labour pretty quickly after that, didn't you?
So the procedure is a fetoscopic laser, and it is a high-risk procedure, and we only do it when the risk of not doing it are greater than the risk of doing it.
Yeah.
And by this stage, because things had got, worse so quickly, we didn't have a choice. We had to do the procedure.
Can I just ask, Doc, did you feel like an added pressure that you had Jessie on your table? Like, she's telling the whole world about what's going on. Did you have that added pressure of thinking, oh, we've got to look after these babies?
Actually, I was telling Jessie earlier that when I was looking after her, she was in my environment, so I was calm as anything. Now I'm in her environment, is a completely different kettle of fish. But no, Jessie was one of my patients, and that's
and you
the way
have
we
to do
dealt
your
with it.
thing.
Yeah.
But even when he was doing the procedure, he was just having a casual conversation with George, your right-hand man, and I just remember laying there thinking, oh, my God.
Unbelievable,
it's
isn't
so
it? The
calm. It's crazy.
And the serenity they have when you're in the
honestly,
most... Which helps so much. I mean, the medical profession are unbelievable for that, aren't they?
Yeah,
because you're in the most
unbelievable.
stressful position that you or your family are in.
But you need that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what made me feel, like, reassured and calm when it was all happening.
How quickly did you go into labour after that?
So after that, so was I
10 weeks?
10 weeks, after that, which was
And the babies had to stay in hospital for a bit as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
They were premature.
Yeah.
After that, after the procedure, we had to stay in hospital for those 10 weeks.
No.
We stayed in hospital for those 10
So we
weeks.
practically lived in hospital, which was a real journey. But do you know what? The staff and the hospital...
Got to know everyone.
It was lovely.
I sing to everyone.
It's interesting, though, when you spend time in hospital, because it becomes your bubble in a
Most
really
people,
weird way.
if
You'll
you
sort
told,
of say...
I feel like if most people you said, all right, you're going to spend 10 weeks in hospital, they'd be like, oh, God. But for me, I don't know if it's because where I was in, like, such a state of fear all the time in my pregnancy, I felt safe to be there. I actually didn't want to go home. Like, when there was times when Dr. Ian would say, like, OK, you could potentially go home, I was like, no.
Yeah. Can you come home with me, please?
Yeah, literally.
What's incredible is you really want to raise awareness for this condition. You've done a marathon. You've raised a load of money. Well done, Zion.
Thank you so much. That was, like, so hard. I don't even know how to describe it.
At what point was you like, oh, I can't do this anymore?
I think it's like
mile?
Going over Tower Bridge. I don't even know what mile that is. But it's like near
13,
the middle.
that's halfway.
Yeah, that's like in the middle.
So good.
And I was thinking to myself, I'm basically dying now. I've got to do that all over again now.
Yeah. Oh, you did so well.
What was beautiful, Jess was obviously in hospital, but our friends and family put her on FaceTime. So as I was running past and I saw them, Jess was just on FaceTime crying.
People were like, oh, you're doing so well.
Oh, but you were crying for the rest of the journey.
Dr. Ruan, what would you say if people are worried at all about this, if they've got twins and they're thinking... So what's the best way to educate yourself about it?
So I think it is really... there are plenty of charities and plenty of websites that you can look at, but it's just knowing that there is help out there.
Yeah.
And, there are things that we can do to help even a really complex, difficult situation to hopefully get a good outcome just like this.
Thank you so much.
We've got a little gift for you.
So having a hug during the break, I tell you.
Go and get the gift back.
Oh, that's
I've got a little gift for you. Thank you for bringing them in.
Oh, thank you so much.
Do you want to have a look?
Yeah.
Shall I do it? You're going to love it. There's one each. I love this morning. There it is.
Oh, you should have given it to us before we came on. We could have put them in.
I know, but it's for you anyway.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so kind of you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having us.
We're going to have a snuggle. Let's throw to the loose women and have a snuggle.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
For all of that, she's built one of the most successful fragrance empires in the world, despite leaving school with no qualifications. And now she wants to help others by coaching budding businesswomen.
Yeah, Jo Malone, CBE, is going to be sharing her wisdom in a new BBC Maestro course, as well as with our This Morning viewers today in our phone-in. Good morning, Jo.
Good morning.
So, I mean, we can't wait to get to this phone. We've got lots of people on the line. Can you explain a little bit about what Maestro is and the course that you've put together?
So BBC Maestro is a whole plethora of people from everyone from Marco Pia White, Trini Woodall, and we're all giving our experience and our wisdom and the adventures and the little hacks that we've helped to help build us kind of global businesses. And for me, mine is, when they first asked me, which was a couple of years ago, it was like, I never went to university. I never finished school. I've got no qualifications. What am I going to create 4 hours of content? You know, what am I going to do? And I realised that what they wanted was how I thought about life differently and that entrepreneurial heart. And so I teach you in this course how to fill your entrepreneurial toolbox with everything you're going to need to build a business, share your life, raise your kids, teach children in education, all kinds of things. All of these things will be relevant for you.
So what are the attributes that you need to become a successful entrepreneur?
You need passion.
Yeah.
You have to feel it. If you don't feel it, no one else is going to. You have to be resilient. You have to be a little bit like a warrior because, trust me, you're going to fall down. You're going to graze your knees and you've got to get up again and you've got to fight. So you need resilience and that opportunity that you give yourself that says, sometimes I need to fail in order. I mean, how many times have we all failed?
Oh, yes.
But we don't talk about that, do we?
And also you learn more, I think. From when you fail, you learn a lot more than when you succeed.
Nelson Mandela said, I always win or I learn. And if you look at life like that, and so I will teach you to look through different eyes in this course and say to yourself, it's okay. And I share some of my worst moments, which people love your worst moments.
Of course, because as we know the headlines of how successful you've been with the businesses that you've created, but understanding how you've got to that success is
Ben, I've
huge.
made lots of mistakes along the way, and I don't share all of them, but I share enough to make people feel that they can identify. The last thing is really important. It's creativity.
Yeah.
So I believe that everybody in this world has a bank account, okay? And it's full of creative currency. And the only one that can access it is you, only you. That creative bank account will help fulfill your dreams. It will help you think about life differently. But that bank account will only go up in value if you use it. Otherwise, it just stays stagnant. So, you know, you've had lovely Martin Lewis talking about finances. Creativity is exactly the same as a currency.
And you offer, like, really practical advice. You were talking there about creativity. And isn't there an exercise that you do where you take all different items that are white?
Yes.
And then the person has to come up with an idea. Explain it.
So this is if I'm going to be interviewing someone for a creative team. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the child in them. That's what I'm looking for. So I'll get a tray. Everybody does the interviews with their CV. By the way, I'm just going to bring this out. This is one of my treasured things. I was once asked for my CV in life, and this is my CV.
That's a very small CV.
There you go.
In fact, it's a tiny CV.
Because actually, I've never qualified at anything. I've got no qualifications. So that's my CV.
Have you ever interviewed for a job, though, Jo?
I have, and I sort of managed to waffle my way through and say, give me a chance. But, you know, people get so hung up. It's important to have your CV, of course it is, and there'll be people that within my team that look through the CV and talk through it. But I'm interested in the child. So I'll get a tray of product that are all white, as though it's a canvas. There'll be a tennis ball, kick and change, a white mug, a can opener. What else did we have in there? A paintbrush. And I will say to them, OK, you have 10 minutes. I'm going to leave the room. One, all of them. But you have to choose something, and when I come back in the room, I want you to have sold me a product that you've created in your head.
Wow.
And let me tell you, 10-year-olds can do it.
I bet they can. I bet they can. Fascinating as an idea. Right, let's get to the phone lines, Jo, because there's lots of people desperate to speak to you. Let's start with Melody, who's in Kent. Hi there, Melody.
Good morning.
Lovely to have you phone in. What's your question for Jo?
So I'm at the very, very beginning stages of planning on opening my own doggy cake and cupcake business for doggies. And I don't even know where to start apart from trading standards, because obviously I need to get some, I don't know what you call it, regulatory things. I don't even know how to pronounce it. So if you can help me on that, I would really be appreciative.
Oh, hello, Melody. I'm so happy to hear that you want to create your own business. And two things I love in life, which is being an entrepreneur, and I love dogs. So this is perfect for me. So you're creating your own cupcake. Have you got the name of the brand? Don't say it if you haven't registered it, by the way. But do you have the name of your brand and your story?
I have got one in my head, but I need to run it past my family to make sure that they're happy with it. I have mentioned it to my dog and she looked at me with two heads, but that's
well, first of all, what I'd love to kind of just give you a couple of ideas of, my head is always in marketing. So one great idea would be to make a whole lot of cupcakes in, running up to your launch and go and stand near parks where everyone is walking their dogs. And as the dogs come out, they're often sort of hungry, aren't they? Because they've been running around the park and they're dirty. Do tiny little cupcakes. And maybe if people love them and you come back, you could do tiny little cupcake collars that everybody puts onto their dogs who's tried a cupcake. And then you can get testimonials. So that would be one of the kind of creative ideas I think about. When you're starting a business, you need to think about the name, the product, the name, the strategy, all of those things. So I'm going to give you a little compass now, Melody. All eyes. Inspiration, innovation. So you need to be inspired and you need to innovate and create. Integrity. Now, that's what you're talking about, all the things that you need to do, the legal things, make sure that the cupcakes are safe for the dogs, go through all of their testing and trading. I don't know the governing body that you do that, but there will be people that do. Ignition. So that's when I gave you that idea about standing outside the park and giving them that ignition, that moment. And instinct. What does your gut say? So the world at the minute is going, don't trust your gut. I'm telling you, trust your gut. It is your greatest attribute in business, what feels right. And then package your product, create this amazing story around it, and go and ignite the world.
Love it.
Passion.
Melody, go ignite the world.
Good luck, Melody.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Really excited for you. Hope that goes really, really well.
Yeah, enjoy it. Next up, we've got Hannah. Good morning, Hannah. What's your question?
Good morning. I wanted to ask Jo, what would be her advice to reach more customers and how to set up an online shop? And then how could that into a physical shop? Because I currently have a small business startup, which is with canvases and greeting cards, and they have all handmade custom designs, but I'd like to expand that and then expand it into real life to reach more people.
Oh, hello, Hannah. Well, that sounds... How long has your business been trading for?
I'd say over a year.
Over a year. Did it start out as a hobby?
It did, because I always love to draw and I love to paint, especially in watercolours, which is what most of the cards are made out of.
Amazing, amazing. So, first of all, one of the things I would say is people are always looking for artists. They're always looking for, like, packaging to be recreated. So I would set up something on Instagram and I would take all of your art and all of your beautiful cards and I would take your images and put them onto all different things. So all different images. At the moment, Instagram needs to be very, very emotional and we need to connect in it. So maybe it will be a beautiful greeting card, but maybe, Kat, it was your birthday and you'd had a beautiful label on a water bottle and a wine bottle.
Right.
So you could take your images and put them on different things and create kind of different packaging. Taking your business from online to bricks and mortar to a physical store is a big step, Hannah. It really is. And it means a lot of expense. So if you have that money in the bank, good luck, and there'll be lots of steps along the way. But what I would say to you is, have you looked into all the things that you could do online first? So if you have that pool of money, say you have £1,000, £2,000, whatever it is, could you take that money and put it in to your website and create something more of an experience? Because when you have something online, it's a global store. Look at it like that.
Yes.
You have your first global store you're able to show. The other idea I had for you was to join up with 3-4 other entrepreneurial businesses. So it might be your local art gallery. It could be your local church on a Sunday. Could you put a little, gallery together for them? So think about places where you can go and people that you can share your ideas with, and then take your 3-4 stories and create a lovely press story, get your local newspaper in to come and tell your story with you. So what we're always looking for is, what's the next step? What's the next step? And it's not always straight ahead. It can sometimes be, look left, look right. Who do I know? Who can I bring in and create this story? But yeah, I'd love you to send me some of your ideas for Christmas, and we can start by sharing them on our Instagram. Very happy to do that.
That'd be brilliant.
Amazing,
Yeah.
Hannah.
Good luck, Hannah.
Good luck.
Much.
Right, here's a quick one for you. We've only got a minute left, but Beth's asking about marketing. You've already talked about marketing. She says, it says it's from Beth, but it's, my wife and I have a small property furnishing and design business for show homes and holiday rentals. We've done very little marketing so far. We haven't really needed it, but now we want to grow more. What do you recommend is the best initial marketing strategy to implement to reach new customers or build a brand?
So I'm going to go back online. So I've got an idea for you. I'm sorry, what were their names?
Beth.
Beth.
And her partner.
Beth and Mr. Beth.
Or Mrs. Beth.
So what I would say to you is AI is going to be your best friend here. So Chatbox, ChatGPT, looking at that. But what I would do is I would set up something visual, again, either an Instagram, TikTok, and I would take one room, and every week you and your husband decorate that same room in a different form. You can do it all on AI. DALL-E will be able to help you with all these amazing images, and it's free of charge right at this moment. We can use these are our fingertips. Change that room every single week and get a wonderful narrative, people sharing their stories. Then what will happen is someone will go, that's such a clever idea. How about we sponsor you, and the cushions that you put on the sofa, you get a cut from. And so you become your own creator and influencer, and you're able then to create revenue, and then you allow your followers to grow, and that's when your business starts to really take off.
Really lovely idea. Really, really lovely, especially if it starts generating revenue as well, because that allows you to sort of invest elsewhere as well, doesn't it, Jo?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, Jo, we've got loads more. We can't
so
get through them all, but thank you for coming in and sharing some of those thoughts.
And if you want more of Jo's invaluable advice, her BBC Maestro course will be available from the 15th of November.
Lovely to see you, Jo.
Thank you.
Have a lovely birthday as well.
Thank you so much,
hello.
everyone.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Jo joins us now alongside the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting. Good morning to you, chaps.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. That is so cute. I mean, you can't help but stand up, get motivated, and it's perfect because it's just 5 minutes a session, Jo.
Yeah, I'm quite emotional to see it, you know, on TV and to see the response it's had this morning. We went to a school yesterday and launched it, you know, 44 kids in a room. I just pressed play, and they were just from the age of sort of 4 to 7 years old, and really got moving. All of them walked out with a big smile on their face, and this is what it's all about. I'm so passionate about this, and it comes back to my childhood. Like, I needed sport and exercise. It changed my life. It helped me with the chaos of living at home with an addict and someone with mental health issues, and so I know the importance. And when I connect the dots between movement and exercise and how I felt, it completely changed. It was my therapy from a young age. So I'm trying to, again, continue the legacy of PE with Jo, get young children moving more often and having fun in the process, and I really hope this does that, you know.
And unquestionably,
brilliant.
Health Secretary, having a weapon like Jo Wicks in your armoury is hugely valuable, isn't it? Because of the way he can connect with young people and inspire them to want to have fun. So don't think about it as a chore. You think about it as just a lot of fun.
Yeah, honestly, Jo's absolutely right. Yesterday, the kids got involved straight away. It's really bite-sized. You can do it in your living room. You can do it in your bedroom. You can get your family involved. And look, the truth is that if the government had tried to produce something like this on our own, it probably would have been, like, I'm sorry to say, like, boring government video.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I've just turned up looking like this morning. It's like kind of a really good kind of physical manifestation of how boring government can be. And the great thing about this partnership we've got is we're putting some resource behind it so we can make more of these videos and they can be more freely available. But you've got, like, Jo's passion, energy, dynamism, that comes through in the clip we just saw briefly. You've got, you know, the animators behind it, who are absolutely amazing. You see that through the images and some of the projects they've worked on before. Universal have come in to give it great music, and artists have kind of been falling over themselves to say, yeah, we want to be part of this. Because we've got 1 in 5 children leaving primary school with obesity. So getting children active, getting them out and about, and also meeting kids where they are. Lots of them are on YouTube. They're doom scrolling like the rest of us, I'm sorry to say. I've got nieces and nephews, and they're on their tablets all the time. And so if we're meeting these kids where they are and giving them something fun and easy to engage with and motivational, then we're keeping them active, and it, as Jo describes, it helps to create healthy mind, body and soul.
Yeah. It's so funny when you say, you've got Jo helping you out and you're the sensible one. But, I mean, it is a really serious matter. I mean, 1/3 of children are obese. Would you ever consider the weight loss jabs as a factor into that, and could that help at some stage?
We're not looking at them for children at this stage, but adults, yes. And actually, there are lots of people in our country at the moment who suffer with really serious obesity. And lots of people have tried, by the way, on some of the weight loss programmes, on diet changes, on exercise, but some people have reached a point where it just feels like too big a mountain to climb. And that's why I think weight loss jabs can play a role. It's really important that that you get advice from a doctor. It's really important that they're not just available to people who can afford to fork out what can sometimes be about $2,500 a year for these jabs. So I'm working with the NHS to try and make them more widely available. But for children, I think we can get this right first time if we do a whole range of things, like what Jo's doing, getting kids more fit and active, with schools, some of the work we're funding in schools on PE and games to make it fun and accessible. That's all going to make a difference. Acting on things like the targeting of junk food advertising at children and young people, that's going to make a difference. The work we're doing to make sure that school breakfast clubs, school meals are much more nutritious, that's going to make a difference. So all these things taken together, I think, are necessary to tackle what threatens to be a really serious obesity crisis for our country. It's costing the NHS about £10 billion a year.
Yeah.
Jo, your PE with Jo was such a massive hit during the lockdown because everybody was stuck at home and the kids were able to get involved. Have you noticed the sort of drifting away of children in terms of their fitness and what they're doing activity-wise? And what do you think the government needs to be doing more of to try and get kids engaged and trying to reverse some of the issues we've got with obesity?
Yeah, look, I've obviously visited hundreds of schools, and my only dream is that I could visit every school. But when I realised I couldn't, that's when the animation idea came up. It's scalable and it's accessible, it's free. It can be like 5 minutes at home with your kids or in between a lesson at school. And it's just like, it's just giving more children more opportunity to move. And, we live in a world now where, as a parent, I'm also addicted to my device. Like you said, we're addicted to our devices, so are kids. The algorithms are so sticky, you want to be on it. And it's like, how can I disrupt that passive viewing on screen time and make it an active thing? So you might do one workout with the kids and you might go, you know what, I feel great, I'm doing another one. And suddenly you've done 15 minutes of exercise. So although 5 minutes is like a bite-sized chunk, it could really be a catalyst for more exercise and more movement. But look, the food thing is that, I'm working on a documentary at the moment around UPF and that's a big challenge. My eyes are being opened to something completely different. Ultra-processed food and marketing and all that. So we need to have a talk about that another time.
Yeah,
but
we should.
Essentially, it's about education, it's about inspiration, it's about giving people resources, and this is one of I'm really proud that I'm sitting here with you, Wes, because I would have done this anyway. I self-funded this. No one really wanted to invest in it. We self-funded the first 5 episodes, and I would have done this anyway. But the fact that you've given us the seal of approval and you're helping us get it in front of more people means you believe in it, and it's going to make an impact. This is money well spent. This is an animation that actually is really going to create an impact, and I'm so happy that it's actually come to life. It's been a long time. It's been a 2-year journey. And here we are.
It's fantastic that you're doing it. As you pointed out, I think childhood obesity is costing the NHS £11 billion a year. There's huge issues that we've got. It would be remiss of us not to ask a couple of questions on some other stuff. So we've got the health secretary here, if that's OK. We've been...
I'll give Jo the difficult one.
Yeah, Jo can take this. But we're talking about our campaign that we've been running for the last few days about cosmetic treatments. We've surveyed over 2,000 women trying to understand what is happening in this really unregulated industry. Over 50% of the women said that they had to be referred to get some medical advice after they'd had some treatment. 15% ended up in hospital, needing hospital care after they had treatment. What the question everybody's asking is, how on earth have we got to the point where there is no regulation and these things are able to happen? Because this is, again, costing the NHS millions of pounds.
And it's really shocking. And I take my hat off to the women who've been brave enough as well to come and sit on this sofa, to share their stories in the media, to actually try and make sure this doesn't happen to other women and to share those experiences which have been personally painful and harrowing for lots of these women. So you're right. I mean, because of the lack of regulation, we've basically got cosmetic cowboys that are basically, I would not even use the word treating women, they are practising on women and causing serious catastrophic damage. So we are going to act, and in the coming days and weeks, we're going to be setting out the regulations we're going to put in place to clamp down on this sort of practice here at home. But there's also this issue about overseas as well, whether that's not just women, but men and women going abroad for cosmetic procedures. We've had some really awful stories where people go away, take up an offer that looks too good to be true, to be honest, come back, the NHS has to pick up the pieces, and those poor people are left picking up the pieces in terms of their lives. Got people importing cosmetics as well.
So this is one of the things. So we had Kaylee on yesterday who was injected with an anti-wrinkle treatment that had been imported from Korea, not licensed over here, eminently available on the internet, eminently available via this practitioner. Just want to play you a little clip of what she said on the show.
And I thought at one point I was going to end up going blind because my eyes were so bad. I couldn't leave the house. I was crying every day. I could barely open my eyes. I could only see from the bottom of my eyes.
Is the expectation it will recover?
They said I've got to wait for my nerves to regenerate. I wish I'd never done it. It wasn't worth it.
So she was driving her little boy to school. She got another baby in the back driving and all of a sudden had double vision.
We need, what is clearly apparent is, and you're saying in the coming weeks and months, regulation needs to come in, but it's urgent. It's really, really urgent. You know,
so you'll see, I mean, you'll see in a matter of days the regulation we're going to take to clamp down on some of the misconduct here at home. When it comes to clamping down on practice overseas, that's more challenging. When it comes to things that are imported...
But unlicensed stuff that's being imported as well.
That's more of a challenge, but I am working across government to try and tackle it because, and in the meantime, what I'd say to people watching is, like, the thing about the UK high street or online retailers that are in the UK is that you can be confident that the products that are being sold are products that are regulated here in the UK, meet safety standards and are safe to use. Like if you walk into Boots on the high street today, you can be confident about that. If you're importing things from overseas, you can't have that confidence. And if you're seeing things that look too good to be true, chances are they're too good to be true, and you don't want to be in that situation where you're on this morning saying, I really wish I hadn't done that. So in the meantime, I'd urge people, be really careful about what you buy, stick to what you know at home, and, friends, family, if you're having those sorts of conversations, give people that advice. But ultimately, we've got a responsibility to act and to try and keep people safe. So we'll keep you posted on what we're doing.
I mean, there are also those people who aren't lucky enough to sit on the sofa, actually. We've lost
loads
people.
and loads of women.
There's a chap called Dane Knight who came on the show. Take a look at this clip. He's talking about his wife.
She was a loving, caring mother of 5.
Yeah.
She was loved and adored by many in the community and beyond. Which that showed on, on her day when she was put to rest. Yeah, I didn't know it was too late until we got a call from the hospital. I think I would hate to see another family go through, more kids saying, burying their mum, another partner burying their partner. I know, such as Ashton Safe Faces has been trying to push this now for a long time, which we didn't know, but it's just not common knowledge. More needs to be done.
So tragically, Alice lost her life in 2024. At the time, you said you were committed to taking action against those carrying out these procedures. This is your quote. It's absolutely disgusting that there are Wild West operators practising actually dangerously in cosmetic surgery, putting people's lives at risk, and we've seen that in the tragic case of Alice.
Yeah, that's right.
Dane's going to be joining us tomorrow.
Children.
What can we tell Dane that you've done as Health Secretary since this happened in 2024?
So we're pretty much ready to regulate, to take action here at home. When it comes to overseas practices, that is more complicated, but we are working on it, and I'll keep coming back to.
So when will we get? But I mean, you're telling us there's something coming in a couple of days, but of course that's quite vague as well. When will they? Can you give us any idea what those specifics will be? The regulation may be the sort of what could happen to people if they aren't regulated. They're doing these. They are those cowboys and they get caught.
Yeah. So in the coming days, we're going to set out the regulation we'll be putting in place to clamp down on these sorts of
this week,
cosmetic cowboys. Probably in the next week or so. I always have to get permission from the bosses in terms of when we're putting stuff out. But over the next week or so, you should hear from the government on what we're doing to clamp down on cosmetic cowboys here at home. When it comes to overseas, it's more complicated, but I am working with the team across government and also with other governments around the world to help try and clamp down on this, and we'll keep you posted. But the other thing I just wanted to say, I mean, just hearing Dane speaking there and the thought of 5 children being left behind because they've lost their mother in these circumstances, that motivates me to act. And I hope that for people watching as well, it's just that really the worst possible reminder when you're seeing things being marketed online, just think really carefully before you take up things that look too good to be true.
There is an urgency, isn't there? Much like what Joe's doing with Activate and what you're combining with, the urgency to get things moving for childhood obesity is really important, as is this. So I hope you understand why we wanted to ask you those questions.
No, quite right, so yeah.
Have you done a session with Wes yet, Joe? Have you done
We went to a school yesterday and we got the kids moving. I was so enthralled with the kids. I don't know if you've done any burpees, but this isn't also just a thing about obesity. This is more than just the external. This isn't just about the body. We have kids with serious anxiety, depression, getting pulled out of school. They're really struggling. So this is about holistic approach. This is about encouraging movement for the mind. Because when you get the mind right, the body will follow, the transformation will come, and food choices will improve. The family's energy lifts. Like, this is so much more than just about body image and weight loss. You know, I think we need to talk about that a bit as well. Because kids are struggling a lot. You know, this will help. This is going to make them laugh as well.
But they can find all the episodes of Activate on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so the YouTube channel, the first workout went live today. I think it's had like 10,000 views in the past hour. So it's on the Body Coach TV, and then every week there'll be a new episode all through summer holidays. And we've released it now because parents really struggle to get kids moving in the summer holidays. So 1 a week for 5 weeks. We'll have a little break, and there's more to come. More moves, more exercises, more challenges, and it's really, really a positive thing. So give your kids a chance to give it a go, and yourself. Ben, you're already in great shape. Have one, see what you think, and have a go as well.
I like the idea of the next cabinet meeting starting with a little Activate session, get the whole cabinet.
Yeah, you won't be seeing those pictures.
But you could do it, though.
It's a serious point, though. I mean, I find like one of the hardest things I've found about sort of the impact of sort of my job since I've taken it on in government the last year. You know, as you know, I went through kidney cancer years ago, and I started to get much more active, thinking much more about my diet. The nature of my job means, like, my exercise has suffered, my like, you know, you sort of grab and go stuff. We've been talking about this with Joe going around the country. You just, so look, I suppose in some ways the great thing about being health secretary and responsible for the nation's health is that my own starting point is a lot different to you two. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
So I'm probably not going to be on the front of Men's Health in quite the way that you
were. Why don't we make that the challenge, though, Wes? How old are you now?
42.
You're 42.
So
honestly, there is no
right,
way that you can't turn that round. And as Joe will know, it's not about the picture at the end, it's the journey, it's what it gives you.
Absolutely right. And that's the other thing I just want to say to people watching as well, is please don't think that like it's all about spending hours in the gym every day or getting rid of everything that you enjoy, like a pint with your mates down the pub, or getting rid of like the chocolates and the guilty snack. You don't have to get rid of all of that. Like just a little goes a long way. So if we can all just get our activity up, like, you know, do half an hour walk a day, do a bit of swimming, like just every time I manage to get in the pool or go to the gym, it's not just about my waistline, it's also about, you know, my mental health as well.
One last thing, just for the record, like, it is aimed at kids, right? But you could be a 50-year-old, 60-year-old, 70-year-old person at home now thinking, oh, you know what, I wish I had a bit of movement, a bit of music. You've got Elton John. I mean, Elton John, I'm Still Standing, one of my favourite songs of all time. Like, I was at Glastonbury watching him perform the most amazing set. To think that I've got that song on the launch episode. So you're going to love the music. It's a 5-minute little movement break, and it doesn't matter what age you are, it's going to lift your mood. You're going to really love it. And there's little moments of humour. I'm so proud of it, and thanks for supporting it. And
no, you should be, Joe. And honestly, if the government had tried to do this ourselves, it wouldn't be as good as this. And it's really important. If we're going to make a genuinely healthier nation, we've got to swing in behind the people that are doing the good stuff and pulling in behind people as the government. And that's exactly what we've done here. And this is what gives me hope that we can actually tackle the obesity crisis, make our country healthier. It's about a team effort that involves government working, people like Joe, business, civil society, and all of us as individuals doing that little bit day by day, step by step.
Absolutely.
I've just had a message from the editor of Men's Health saying you're on 8 years' time. West Street front cover. Joe will help you.
You stitched me right.
Joe will help you.
The office is going to love the wait till I get back.
It is
like everyone else's day.
It's just for everyone watching, right? It's about breaking it down. Just last thing I want to say. keep it simple. It's in the day, right? Don't think about tomorrow. It's like it's one workout at a time, one meal at a time, one food choice at a time. It's too overwhelming to think of it. It's like just small, simple things. Sleep, movement, and a bit more home cooking will change your life in so many ways.
Thank you both for coming in. It's great to see you.
No,
Good luck with it all. It's going to be brilliant.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Has become the nation's PE teacher, has broken a world record, has been awarded an MBE whilst all staying at home. Didn't even have to leave the house to do any of it.
But if that wasn't enough, Joe Wicks has now released his very own first children's book, and here it is. He joins us today. This is called The Burpy Bears, and it looks absolutely beautiful. I was just going through it. Look at this animation.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank you so much. I'm really proud of that.
Absolutely stunning.
It's beautiful, isn't it? So I've got the wonderful illustrator Paul Howard who he visualised and brought them to life. It's basically like me. If you look at the bear, he's got a little top knot, you know, it looks like me, and it's kind of based on a modern-day family who, you know, it's about getting outside and exercising and that connection between movement and our mental health and how we feel. So it's really everything I believe in and I talk about on social media and through YouTube in a children's book format.
Where'd the idea come from, Joe? When did you decide to do it?
Well, it was one of these opportunities that, you know, PE with Joe was such a success. You know, 100 million people took part, and I never planned for that, I never predicted that was going to happen, but obviously my publisher said, you know, would you like to do a children's book? So I had this kind of idea and this concept of a family of bears, because they're quite anatomical, because they can do lunges and squats and they can ride bikes and things. So came up with the concept and the characters, and I had an amazing writing partner called Vivian French who helped me come up with the story, and I'm just really proud of it. It's got a lovely, you know, positive message that you're going to enjoy reading to your children. And at the back of the book, there's a couple of workouts, so there's like a mini kind of wake-up routine and a wind-down routine and a few little recipes that you can do with the kids. So it's really...
It's like a cookbook, exercise book and children's book all in one.
It's all in one.
It's a bit of a hybrid, but I wanted
good.
I wanted it to be practical. So the story's obviously... It's an evergreen story you can read over and over again all year round, but at the back, you know, if you want to get your kids involved in cooking, I'm just so passionate about that. So they're really basic things like veggie burgers and, you know, fruit salad and a little kind of banana pancakes, but it's practical. And I've already seen kids yesterday, you know, making them with their parents. So it's a really lovely concept to add that into a children's story.
You're going to do more, aren't you? So
yeah,
you thought about what your stories are going to be.
So now I've come up with the bears. So basically, this is about a family of bears, and obviously I'm the daddy bear. You know, always up in the morning, super energetic, trying to get everyone up, you know, and I'm making breakfast and I'm trying to get the kids out of the house on an adventure, because sometimes the kids want to just watch TV and, you know, they want to be on their phones and that, and I'm like, come on, let's go out on a big adventure. And by the end of the day, they're all, you know, really energised, they're all really happy. There's a little moment at the end where they say, you know, what did you love the most about today? And they've all got their little kind of things that they remembered. So it's really a positive thing to kind of inspire. I just want to get kids thinking about that connection between moving their bodies and feeling good. And I had that from such a young age. I really connected with that, and it was always my coping mechanism for feeling stressed and feeling tired and anxious. And so that's what I'm trying to promote with this.
It's interesting, that, isn't it? Because it feels like naturally that's what children want to do. So do you just think, like, as the years have gone by, generations have gone by, we've all become a bit more sedentary. That's just what's happened with children, because naturally children do want to exercise and jump around.
When they're doing it, they love it.
I think it's just, you know, it's technology, isn't it, as well? You know, with the creation of iPads and like, you know, things on demand, there's just so much content that can distract us and make us sedentary. So I'm aware of that. I don't really fight and resist it too much. I use the platform. So I've just done an amazing series of workouts with Hey Dougie, like kids' cartoon workouts, you know, to get preschoolers moving. And same with, you know, with Instagram and with social media. You can use it to kind of disrupt it and actually get people moving. So for me, it was with Lean in 15 and with the YouTube workout. So I got people on YouTube moving every day, and it's the same with this book. It's hopefully going to be a lovely story you can read. At the end of it, you know, do a few stretches, touch your toes, lay down and think of something happy. You know, it's a really lovely book.
Do your kids love this book? Have you read it to them?
So I got a copy about a month ago, and I've obviously been reading it every single day to the kids. And
what do they think?
Now they know what's coming, they can predict what's happening. There's a little bit of drama. So they're out making a rocket and, you know, out in the woods, and it starts to chuck it down, and they've got to like build this rocket and hide in the rocket and stay safe, and then they cook their dinner under the stars. And at the end of it, you know, Mummy Bear says, you know, what have you loved the most about today? And the kids are like, oh, you know, I love doing our little exercise, and the other one's like, I love building our rocket. So it's little things I just teach my kids, because we sit down and I say, Indy, what are you grateful for? And she might be like, I'm grateful for my peas, or Marley might, you know, I'm grateful for walking in the park. So I just like that. Someone gave me that idea once. So every time we have dinner, I say, tell me something great that happened today, what you're grateful for. And these little things, you know, when you do it, it just gives you that nice feeling. Yeah, it's nice.
When you read it to your kids, after a while, are they like, all right, Dad, give us the way cat, you know?
Well, they're not bored of it. I've been rinsing it, but I read it last night to them, and they're more excited to get to the back of it and do the exercises. So,
nice.
Indy, I've taught her, she's nailed a burpee, so she's got the perfect technique of a burpee, which is hilarious.
Burpee is like one of the hardest exercises.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Just doing one is a killer. But
Joe-
honestly, what I love about you, though, Joe, is the fact that you always are in acts of service. You always want to help others. And you have helped so many people in lockdown with people's mental health, with the exercise. What is it that drives you to do that?
Well, I'm really glad you say that. And I feel like my motivation in life comes from helping people. I've always got a buzz, whether it's even went back in the day as a personal trainer, like just one-to-one. If I helped you get in shape or helped you overcome an anxiety or depression, I love that feeling. So I've just done that on a bigger scale with P, with Joe and my YouTube content. But I'm the happiest when I connect to that, when I read DMs and I reply to people and I'm interacting with people who are really using my recipes and workouts. It makes me so happy. So, I mean, that's the whoopee cushion one you're seeing there. You know what happened at your fart gate?
You trumped, didn't you? You did something. You went live on air.
I'm sure you know what it's like when you sit down and try and let one out. You're about to go live and you think it's going to get muffled by the sofa bit. They can hear it and someone heard it and it went all over the world. But yeah, I'll never live that down.
It's a natural thing to do, darling. It's a natural thing to do.
Especially when you're about to do crunches and, you know, lunge jumps and burpees, you've got to make sure it's done. But I didn't know I was live, so I've obviously squeezed it out before and it was buffering on YouTube and it went live. Sorry about that.
What has been your favourite book to write? I mean, obviously, I know you like this one, but out of all your books, what's been your favourite?
I mean, obviously, this has got a fond part in my heart, but for me, the first one, the Lean in 15, the Red Book, you know, I call it Little Red, because like a steam train, it just kept on growing and like people all over the world were using it. So that kind of changed my life, that book, you know, it really took me from Instagram to a household name to having that book on people's shelves.
Joe, Lean in 15 is fantastic. I've used it loads.
Oh, really? Have you used that one?
Brilliant book. Really good.
I love that, yeah. I love that. Because I was learning, I thought, I want to learn how to do this properly. So I got with an amazing nutritionist called Charlotte who helped me.
She's great, isn't she?
And she kind of guided me through that process. But yeah, that's the thing, like, I just wanted to do it right and share. When I learn something, I just want to share it. So with the weaning or with, you know, with something about mental health, I've just filmed a documentary about mental health.
Yeah, with Louis Theroux's company.
It was, yeah, man, it was intense. Like, I thought, I don't have any issues. I can deal with all this. I'm fine. But when I started interviewing my mum and dad and going back to my childhood, it brought up so much stuff, and it was like therapy for me. But I know in that content, in that episode, that documentary it's gonna help someone who's struggling.
You've always been quite honest with your mental health and things like that. When I saw some videos of you online, and I just love the fact that you have been open and honest about that. Yeah. Because people resonate with that.
Yeah.
I think it's good to show vulnerability. It's not a weakness, you know.
No,
being open and having a little cry, you know, you feel better. Like when you're a toddler and you cry, you feel better when an adult. And I think the more we can communicate, and that's what this book's about. It's about family. It's about communicating. It's about being there for each other, and not, you know, it's not just about burpees and like exercise. It's about how you feel as a family when you do something together, whether it's cooking, whether it's making a camp, whether it's, you know, getting outside. And I truly believe that. I believe that we can really have moments around cooking that, I know it's a stressful thing, but you can have a fun time cooking. You can have, you know, exercising can be fun together. And I love it. So that's my first book. But yeah, I want to take him around the world. I'm going to go burpee bears in the US, take him scuba diving in Australia, you know, get him on motorbikes.
How's that cold water therapy going for you?
Oh, the ice bath?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got into the whole Wim Hof, like, breathing
Amazing,
and ice cold showers, and I thought, I want to take it to the next level, so I got an ice machine and a bath in my garden.
Look at that.
I did a swim yesterday in 17.
17 degrees?
Yeah,
Was it cold?
So that water gets to about 2 or 3 degrees.
Oh,
I love
how long are you there for?
My PB is 10 minutes, but I do about...
10 minutes?
Yeah, that was pushing it, but I do 3 to 5 minutes. But I tell you what, it's not just a physical thing about my body, it's my mind. I feel so calm and I feel like mad energised afterwards. So give it a go. Start with cold showers, 30 seconds, in cold, out cold, and you see how good you feel afterwards.
Well, listen, it's an absolute pleasure seeing you.
Yeah,
MBE, he's got a new book out. He's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. And happy birthday for your birthday. That's just gone as well.
Yeah, I turned 36 the other day. I got stranded out at sea on my jet boards. Did you hear about that? No. I've got these jet-powered surfboards.
Yeah.
I was out down in Dorset, whizzing through Durdledore, having the time of my life with Rosie, my wife. I was like, I'm so happy, this is amazing. And then I got the engine wet, basically the spark plug got wet, and I couldn't start it up. So Rosie went off to save me, like to get someone, and this boat came past, this little like dinghy, and they were waving at me, and I said, guys, like, and they
I need help.
I said, help me. So basically, they spend their lives, they're wonderful guys. They clean the beaches in the Jurassic Coast of plastic and stuff. And you can imagine how funny it was for them to pick me up. They've gone, we didn't plan on picking you out of the sea today, but, you know...
I'm glad they picked you up, Joe.
Is that where you live down there?
No, I live in Virginia Water, but I just went down there for 2 days with Rosie. But they're called the Jurassic Coast Cleanup gang, and it's like guys that just do it in their own time, clean the beaches and keep it clean. So I said, can you imagine rescuing me? How much of a mad day that was for them.
You're amazing. Joe, thank you so much. The book is out.
Thanks, guys.
Hope you enjoy it.